Well, hello, my friends. I'm excited to be here with Erin Marr. She is a campaign development manager, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And we're talking about the 2023 Nebraska Visionaries of the Year. Erin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Andy.
So we talked a couple weeks ago, and you were filling me in on so many exciting things. There's some new things with what's happening with this campaign. So let's talk a little bit about that. Visionaries of the Year it's a new title. So yeah, I'll just kind of let you take it away.
It is a new title. Previously, it had been Man and Woman of the Year, and this is the first year that it's being introduced now as Visionaries of the Year, which instead of having a Man of the Year and a Woman of the Year, we will have a fundraiser who becomes the Visionary of the Year for Nebraska.
And let's just talk about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society as a whole, because this does raise funds. So let's really go there first and talk about what is it. And I mean, it's the organization has been around for a long time. And talk about the organization in itself.
So the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, we have been around since 1949, and we have been, it's really part to help patients and their families when they are diagnosed with the blood cancer or someone they love is diagnosed with the blood cancer. And our mission is to try and find cures and treatment, and also just increase the value of patients and their families and their overall well-being as they're going through the battle. I personally had a connection to leukemia. My brother's been battling leukemia. And because of that, when we went to his doctor the first time and I mentioned Googling things, he said, don't Google, go to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society because LLS has accurate information and can actually give you accurate information as you're going through the process. So that is our primary focus. And our fundraising campaigns, the two we have, Light the Night and Visionaries of the Year, are our two main fundraising campaigns for getting funds into the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for research and patient education and support.
Yeah. And I think Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we can talk about, say, LLS,
Yeah.
because it is a mouthful, but it's so important. And again, having that personal connection, I just know that that really impacts people, and being able to speak from that experience. And how's your brother doing?
He's doing very well. He had a stem cell transplant, and it has been nearly a year, and he's doing really well.
Okay. Because a lot of times, this hits families and people, and it can, things just happen very quickly. Again, I've not been in that situation, but talking to people that have been, that have somebody close to them.
Yeah. And actually the reality is nobody schedules getting cancer.
No.
And so when you're diagnosed with any type of cancer, it is a gut punch. And the first thing you're trying to do is find out everything you can. And that's what makes me proud to work for LLS, because of the accurate information and the fact that we're constantly trying to find treatments and cures.
Yeah. Well, let's go. So let's talk about this event, because I've been involved in this event from a sponsorship and also just from reporting on it and whatnot. There's a campaign start that it's 10 weeks. But before we get into that, I want to talk about who is the candidate, because you are out and reaching out to members of the community and asking them to be a part of this, or nominating them. People are nominating others to be a part of this, because it's an important role. Like, these people are top-notch individuals in the community.
Right. We talk about it just being a philanthropic competition for leaders in the community, and really the state of Nebraska, because we reach all the way across the state. But Lincoln and Omaha are where we've seen the main base of our candidates in recent years. And looking for candidate, we want somebody who's connected, believes in, philanthropy runs deep in them, and something that they want to do to help out with an organization. We've had very successful candidates who did not have a connection to blood cancer when they started their campaign. And by the end of the campaign, they had met people who had lost loved ones or had loved ones battling. And it's just amazing how, when you start to talk about what LLS does and what the campaign is, you start talking to people who suddenly are telling you a story that you had no idea about previously.
Yeah. And again, so that, because now it's a visionary of the year, you know,
Yep.
man, woman, tell us what kind of, you know, what's the commitment to be a part of this?
So we have candidates that are nominated, but then those candidates form teams. And it's really the candidate team that goes out and shares the mission, shares what they're doing. They have fundraisers. We have seen a lot of fun in the fundraising that people
Yes.
do, the various golf tournaments, and um, they've had guest bartending and all sorts of different events, you know, for people to do virtual. I did a virtual travel night. I was actually a candidate myself in 2021, and that's how I ended up here at LLS
Yeah.
and continuing to raise funds. But those different, we're getting back, thankfully, 2020 and 2021 were a lot of virtual. And so
Yep.
we're finally starting to see in 2022 being able to get back out and have live in-person events, and having your candidate team and team members for those 10 weeks. It's really helpful to kind of just get through it, have fun doing it. And then at the end, we have a big celebration. So on Friday, June 9th, we'll have our grand finale celebration.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I mean, I've been to many of the events that the candidates, the folks that are in part of this have been, and it's been so much fun. So so the 10-week campaign starts when?
It starts on Monday, March 27th.
Okay.
And that is the first day that candidates can start fundraising. We do have a candidate workshop in February, so it gives people the chance to kind of learn what they can do in the campaign, hear from former candidates. And then once we kick off on the 27th, it goes until Friday, June 9th, and that's when we have the grand finale. And it really is, it's a ball, and literally, so it's a lot of fun. And it's that end where you just go, oh my gosh. I think the biggest thing for candidates is you get to that 10 weeks and you look back at it and you just are amazed by what you've done. And the feeling at the end of the campaign is amazing.
Well, let's talk about the grand finale. Like you said, on June 9th. I've been to the grand finale many times as well. And it's a, I mean, I remember wearing a beautiful ball gown to it.
Yep.
It's a celebration of what everybody has done and for the organization itself.
Well, it truly is. And throughout the 10 weeks, we're honoring local heroes who are cancer survivors. And one of the big differences, too, between man and woman and now visionaries is we used to have a boy and girl of the year, and now we have a pediatric honored hero as well as an adult honored hero. And so Lily is 7 years old, and she is battling acute myeloid leukemia. And she is in remission and doing well. And then our adult honored hero's name is Vince, and he is an amazing survivor as well. He's back at work in the armed forces and actually currently deployed. So he'll be joining us remotely. But that's when you look at why we're doing this and you see those people who are truly affected by blood cancer and their families and what they've gone through. It definitely helps candidates to realize, you know, why we're all doing this.
Yeah. And having this interview with you, like I said, we talked a couple weeks ago, and also being a sponsor of this event, but having this conversation with you is reaching out to the community and saying, hey, are you a candidate? Do you know somebody that you can nominate, or is it you? Because you take so many people, I mean, but it really is just like you said, a passion with philanthropy, and whether you have a personal association with the disease, or again, the awareness and the education a person can bring to the community, it's just huge.
It really is, because one conversation I had resulted in somebody who had actually moved out of state, but 2 weeks later, I got a phone call and said that one of their coworkers' husbands had been diagnosed. And through that conversation, she knew to reach out to me. I was able to get her in touch with our patient team. And then they were able to get all the information that they needed as they started their whole journey through the blood cancer treatment.
Do you know, and this is something that we hadn't talked about prior, but do you know like how many people are impacted? I mean, I think it's more than you even realize that.
Yes, there are millions of people that are living with a blood cancer or have passed from a blood cancer, but the startling fact for me is that every 3 minutes, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's just that, to me, that just is mind blowing. And again, having that awareness out there and also being able to raise funds for more research and for treatments and whatnot is just so important. So how can somebody, whoever's watching this and they want to nominate somebody, how do they
Yep.
do that?
They can send me an email. My email is just erin.marr@lls.org. It's very easy. Send me an email and I will reach out and schedule a call and we can talk through the whole nomination process. But I would love to hear from people who want to nominate somebody, want to be a candidate themselves,
Yeah.
or want to make a difference, because the more people that we reach, the closer we're going to get to a cure.
And who were the winners last year?
So last year we had Rob Randalls with Northwestern Mutual and Jacqueline Oltmans, who is with Social, and they are also opening a new establishment downtown soon in Omaha.
Yeah, I remember I wasn't able to actually. Did you have the event in person? Because I know there
We
was
did have last year's in person, yes.
Yeah, but I remember reading about those two individuals. So how can people above and beyond this event get involved with LLS?
Really, they can reach out to me as well. We also have Light the Night, which is an amazing event we have in the fall.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Light the Night it's a outdoor walk that we do in Omaha, and it's great. It's an opportunity for people to volunteer there if they want. Just join the walk and celebrate people who are survivors and also remember people who have passed. And it's really neat walk to be able to be a part of, and we need volunteers year round. And so anybody who is interested in that can reach out to me with that as well.
Yeah, I've done that walk many times. It's so impactful and it truly is a magical evening. So do you have a date for that in 2023 yet?
I believe we have the date scheduled. I can't say for sure. I think it's September 28th.
Okay,
But
we'll be sure to post it.
Time. Yeah, I can definitely get that confirmed.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Erin, we literally have like 30 seconds now. I'm just looking at the time. We've talked about so many things. Just in 30 seconds, what are your final words?
Well, I think the final thing I would say is that this is such a fun campaign. It is 10 weeks, but amazing things happen during those 10 weeks. And for anybody who knows someone who might be a great candidate or feels even pulled a little bit to do this, call me and let's talk about it. And I would love to hear from people.
Yeah. Erin, thank you so much for joining me today, and we will continue to get the word out. Again, this is a great event, encouraging all of you watching this to either consider nominating somebody or look at yourself, and for such a great cause. So Erin, thank you so much.
Thank you.